Raisin Productions.
What up, fam? This is C.A. Purcell. Welcome back to the Gumbolaya Podcast. Welcome back. It's been a long time. Gumbolaya. Hopefully I could continue. This was supposed to be just something I did in between projects when the wheels were turning a little bit slower and I had time to do what I love, which is to talk about stuff and also things, both. And, you know, fortunately, things pick up and you start getting busy. So it's a kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. Doesn't really bode well for continuous content, but we're back, or I'm back. I'm actually rocking solo. So I'm going to call this Ramblin Ant. I think that'll be a cool name. It's intended to just be time for me to be able to get phone calls, for time for me to be able to just talk. Hopefully I'll be able to carve out like some consistent time and get guests on and things like that, because I like talking to people. It kind of feels weird to just ramble. But I'll call it Ramblin' Ant, and it'll just be me rocking solo, sharing stuff. Don't know if it's going to be a theme, because I like talking about a lot of stuff. I like thinking about a lot of stuff. My heart goes in many different places, and my interests are numerous. However, I've been in a very, very, very significantly transitional place. Maybe it'd be a good way to say it. I've had some very difficult days in the recent past. A lot has changed in my life and in my heart and my spirit. And I'm not going to get too deep, probably, because it's incredibly personal stuff. But I don't know, maybe we'll hit it thematically. Maybe, I don't know. But recently, like last night I was at rehearsal. For those that don't know me, I'm a music producer and a music director and whatnot. And I was running rehearsal last night, and at the end of it, we were leaving. And I mentioned to the group to remember to reach out to people, because the holiday seasons are upon us, and you know it's a great time for a lot of us, but it's not a great time for a lot of other people. And as I said, you know, I had some heavy days recently, and I have a very, very clear understanding now of what it feels like to go through mental health issues, because that's what was and is going on with me. I'm a lot better, but it was some heavy days. It was some heavy days, and I was able to reflect on the fact that you know, my life has I found myself on the path in life where people feel comfortable and are drawn to share you know, personal things with me in either in ministry when the counseling aspect of being a minister is relevant or necessary or needed, and also just personally, you know, friends and loved ones that end up talking to me you know, very vulnerably and sharing stuff. And I'm grateful for it because, you know, it gives me an opportunity to kind of learn and to grow, and also to show, you know, love in return. And anytime somebody trusts you with their heart, it's a wonderful thing, because, you know, they're sharing their heart with you. You can share your heart with them. It's a wonderful thing. I definitely thrive on relationships. So it's a positive part of my life, even though sometimes it can be difficult, because, you know, some people have gone through some really, really hard things, and, you know, you see them and they try to put on the happy face, and then they leave from the social situations and they crumble. So So last night at rehearsal, I just mentioned to everybody to remember to reach out. Reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, people that are placed in your heart to do so, because you very well could end up contacting the person that really needs the contact. You should trust who comes to your mind and who's placed in your heart from whatever source you believe to be real and powerful and at the center, I guess, of creation and control of the universe. Whoever you believe is overall. I'm definitely a God person. I believe in God, Jehovah. And so when I started to learn that aspect about myself, that I'm in a wonderful place to be able to be loving and to share love, and that people trust me, and then the conversations started to become a lot more, I guess, meaningful, and it didn't just feel like, I'm just talking to somebody. When you kind of come into the awareness that everybody doesn't allow themselves to be vulnerable with people, right? Everybody doesn't open their heart up. And so if someone does, it's a very clear indication that they see you as someone that they can trust. And we don't always make the right decision about who to trust. So when you're in the right headspace, when you have love in your heart, you should reach out. Reach out to people. Say what up. Doesn't even have to be super deep. Reach out, say what's up, ask how you doing, what's going on, share what's going on with you if you choose to do so. And the point is really just to show love. It doesn't have to be deep. If it gets deep, no problem. But sometimes just getting a phone call from someone that is thinking about you, it's a really big deal. It's a really big deal. That's been the case with me my whole life, but definitely recently. I was in some very dark places, some very low places. And, there's been a lot of things that have helped me through it. I started therapy, different types of counseling. But honestly, I believe most of it was the love and support from my friends and family. Like that's kind of how my spirit sings, is by connecting with people and having regular indications and reminders and interactions with people that genuinely have love for me. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Getting that random phone call from somebody that, I might have reached out to them and saying, you got a second, we talk about whatever. So, that's understandable. But then sometimes it was just some people that, you're on my mind, wanted to reach out. It's a big deal. So be that person if you choose to do so. I'm encouraging you to be that person, from both sides of the matter, from someone who has been lifted from very dark places and dark moments very recently, as well as knowing what hearing and remembering how people share with me how much I've helped when I did that, when I reached out, when I was like, hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm a phone person. I'll be calling. You know what I mean? The busier I am, the harder it is to do, obviously, because, if you have a full schedule, if you got a lot of work, it's hard to just reach out. But when I can, I reach out because I be missing people. I really love people. And I think that's a lot of why that's been my path, is because when I'm talking to someone, I'm genuinely talking to them. It's not just because I feel like I should for whatever reason, or because I'm trying to get something or whatever. I try to be as direct as possible, because nobody likes to feel used or manipulated, and nobody likes feeling like they're dealing with an opportunist, and that sucks. But I can recall several several times in my life where I would find out that someone that I'd seen at events a lot, or someone that I'd hung out in the studio with or whatever, is like a very seriously big deal in their genre or in their industry. But I didn't know. I just thought it was a nice person. Hey, that's so-and-so and so. Like, do you know who that is? Yeah, it's so-and-so. Like, what do you mean? And then so they tell me, well, this person, blah, 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 and they did this movie, or they did this project, or this a legend, they work with this person. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I try not to be weird about it after that point, but, people are people. So it's been my path, and I'm grateful for it because it gives me the opportunity to share love. And holiday season is upon us. And I have had several conversations recently where, I was trying to reach out to folk to kind of get out of my own funk and make some connections with people for my benefit. And I ended up talking to a few folk who were also going through and struggling. And even just recently and for those of you that, I have, regular dialogue with, don't worry, I'm not going to be telling your business. I don't get down like that. But my point in saying that is just, it really does make a difference. It really, really does. One of the significant struggles with, different types of mental health, or even just like conditional situations where, you might not have an ongoing issue or struggle, but there just might be certain triggers around the holidays that are very difficult to kind of get through and to process. Everybody doesn't come from a happy and healthy family. Definitely learn that over and over and over and over and over again. It's wonderful if you do. Be grateful. Everybody doesn't. Everybody doesn't go home to love, which sucks. Everybody doesn't get relief from the idea of going home to see their family, right? And as I got older and I started to integrate my life with other people's, all in conversation, but also just in practice, you go with a friend to their crib for, dinner or a special dinner or whatever, just to hang out. Maybe somebody's having a birthday party, and you get over there and you hear maybe the way their parents talk to them, or you see the sibling that's got some very serious issues and the whole family is just used to that person's issues. And you like, yo, what's up with your boy? People's lives are very different. And the reality that, a lot of you already know, but, that some of you might not realize is that weight is very heavy for some and often is not sitting in their hearts such that they want to share it with everybody, right? So until you show your heart and make yourself available to someone, even if it's just every now and then, they might be able to find a place of trust with you, open up their heart to you, share what's going on, and then you can pray with them, you can pray for them, you can remind them of things that, we get locked in our heads, feeling alone, feeling like we don't want to ruin everybody else's day or life or situation just because our hearts are heavy or because of the things that we're dealing with. I mean, you know how it is. So sometimes getting that phone call from a friend, they're like, yo, how you doing? Some people will choose, you know what? I'm not doing great. And I'm glad you called me because I could use somebody to talk to. And that's the goal, to be in a place of availability to someone that might need it, At least that's my goal. I can't say that's your goal. Your goal might be to make a whole lot of money and to be famous and blah, blah, blah. But that's not my goal. Mine is to learn what makes my heart sing, or learn more of what makes my heart sing, find ways to show love to people, find ways to be of service to God, that his love can pour out, through me to make somebody else's life better. Because in that process, of me showing love to someone, me receiving love for someone, I'm happier. Me, right? So a little bit of it is selfish, a little bit, because it really does make my life brighter and happier, to be able to connect with a lot of people. I found that out about myself in a very crazy situation where I overheard someone talking about me from frustration, and basically the person said, he's constantly looking for connection, and I don't really need that. I don't need that. And that's very real for that person, right? And it was a little bit of a shocker to me, because I didn't know I was getting on this person's nerves like that. And we talked about it, and it's all love. Like we had the conversation, and I understood kind of what was behind the comment, and it really wasn't about me, really. That was just them processing, getting to know me. But it was very enlightening for me, because I did know very well, you can't really know me and not know how much I love people, how much I love connecting with people, how much I love interacting and having connection. Like that, I thrive on it, very much so. I look forward. I don't even like doing this. This is a way for me to kind of get out of my head and share something that I think is really important, and that can make the world a better place. But I don't want to talk to myself. It's weird, Speaking of talking to yourself, that the reason I wanted to speak is because of that. Reach out, show some love, but the talking to yourself is something weird. I just learned. I can't remember where I heard it, but because of the storm I was just in, and that I believe I'm coming out. I think I can see the peace that is. I can see the hand of God in different areas of my life. I can see what he's restoring. Still, I'm still struggling with a lot, but I can see the clouds parting. But in the process, somewhere I was reading or maybe I was talking to someone, but some kind of it might have been a TED talk or something. But I remember hearing someone talk about the concept of speaking to yourself. And to me, that's always been weird. I don't know nothing about it. I can't relate, or I couldn't relate. And so the idea just seems silly to me. But I recall, I wish I could remember where it was, because I'd love to refer you to that source so you can kind of hear the concept in context. But I do remember the impression that it made on me, which is talking to yourself allows you to control what's coming in, right? This season that I've been through is without question the hardest thing I've ever been through. I've been in more pain than I've ever felt in my entire life. And I was led or found myself in the darkest places I've ever been in terms of me within myself, right? And it was not good. I really do believe I'm so much better. And I mean, even the fact that I can just kind of talk right now and fall apart, it means I'm a lot better. So you got to speak life. Definitely learn. You got to speak life, even though it's important to share what's really going on with your head and your heart and in your spirit. I don't believe in lying to be positive, but I have definitely learned the idea of speaking life and concentrating on the areas where you can and should be grateful, right? And mindful of the counterbalance. If you spend too much time in the dark places, you'll spiral. And that's what I've been doing for months. It's been very bad and it sucks. And I don't want to be there. So wherever this source was, I will try to find it and, maybe post it or something. I don't know. But the person was talking about the significance of controlling your narrative, controlling what is coming in to you. And this person was explaining that your brain does not differentiate from someone else talking to you versus you talking to yourself, as well as the significant, the significance of your thoughts reaffirming your reality. And so when you are in a place where your mental health is not in balance, I guess maybe would be the right way to say it. I have learned and I have experienced how much worse your situation can become when your inner monologue, your inner dialogue is completely focused or seemingly locked into the dark places, the dark thoughts, right? Because life is balanced. There is no all dark. There is no all light. Life is everything, right? And that's been a significant struggle of mine, is just being in that place where I felt worthless. I got to be careful because I don't want to start crying and stuff right now. But that's where I was. I was feeling worthless. I was feeling insignificant. I was feeling like a failure. I was feeling like all of the things that I've explained towards the beginning of this, where, I've learned myself to be someone that people trust and that people confide in. And I've been made aware through, through God's revelation, but also just directly from people saying it, that I've been very helpful to a lot of people in life. And, that makes you feel good. But, after a life of all of that, and honestly, having ongoing conversations up to the point where the trauma that I dealt with, I guess, was put on the table. There was a lot about my mental health and myself and my heart that I didn't know. And because it came through trauma, it was incredibly difficult for me to think in a healthy way, to think through it in ways that were not destructive and self-deprecating, I guess would be the word. It's very tough. And I tried very hard. I was in prayer all the time. I have a great relationship with an exceptionally wonderful pastor. I have gobs of friends and family members who are wise and loving and who made themselves available to me at a moment's notice. Like, I got plenty of people I can call, and whatever they're doing, they just pick up the phone. I mean, like in the middle of work, in the middle of whatever, they pick up the phone. Yo, what you need? What's up? And if you know me, you know when something's on my heart, I can talk for a long time. I'm going to try to keep these segments short, but I can talk a long time, and I found the truth that I'm surrounded by love, that I'm surrounded by support, that even the trauma that I went through was definitely a trauma, but my ability to process was so heavily dependent on things about myself that I didn't know, struggles that I didn't know I was struggling with, right? Things in my life that were kind of building up in my heart that I didn't know were unresolved. You know what I mean? And then just some truths. A lot of what I learned is, nobody's perfect. I had some heartbreak with some people that are close to me. And as I've explained, people are very important to me. So my friends and family are incredibly significant and an integral part of what makes me happy in life. So when that is threatened, and I now that I kind of reflect, I've seen that my whole life, but this one was very significant, and I ended up in a place where I felt, like I said, I felt worthless, I felt meaningless, I felt like nothing I say or do was any good to anyone, not myself and not anybody else. It was very bad. When you're in a place where you're not able to see your own worth, you're not able to see your relevance in the world, so to speak, then you're kind of like, well, what's the point in being here? You know what I mean? And that opens the door to much worse thoughts. I'll just leave it right there. I don't want to trigger anybody, but it was very rough. And like I started having people that would reach out, having people that would check in, having people that would give me their time, their attention and their time often and regularly was a very, very big deal. Having people that would pick up when I called, very big deal. But everybody can't do that all the time. So when I saw this individual, or when I was reading about this person who had found a lot of relevance in talking to yourself, it was really weird, but I kept trying to come up for air from the dark places in my heart and the dark places that my spirit was. I was like, yo, I gotta try anything that seems to be helpful or productive or functional. I got to do something. I got to get out of this, right? So, oh man, I wish I could remember who it was. I think it was a black man, and like an older black man, I think. Anyways, one of the things he mentioned, if anybody recognizes what I'm talking about, if you can remember, I feel like it was circulating recently. I think it was someone talking about their it was on the Michelle Obama the show. I think it's on Netflix, and I think like maybe her dad or someone in their life used to kind of talk to themselves in the mirror to kind of orient their day or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's that on the Michelle Obama one. I think it's on like Hulu or Netflix or something. But anyways, the point was to intentionally control your inner narrative. And you do that by speaking to yourself in the mirror. And I'm telling you, it felt ridiculous at first. It did. But I didn't do it every day. This person was talking about doing it every day. And I followed that concept, and I read a lot of other people that were talking about the idea and concept of self-talk, and I did find it to be very helpful to say what I prefer instead of trying to analyze my own thoughts, because it wasn't working. I was going weeks with only sleeping a couple of hours a night. I was having trouble eating because I just wasn't hungry. You know what I mean? And it's tough to kind of, shove food in your mouth if you're not well. It's tough for some people to shove food in your mouth when you're not hungry. But it was tough for me because I just wasn't hungry, and I felt like I was wasting food because I wasn't finishing it. So I needed a way out. And taking a moment every now and then, looking in the mirror, be like, yo, this is what's happening. This is what happened. How we going to deal with this? What we going to do? Are we going to be miserable forever? Are we going to hold on to, the issues? Are we going to just rehearse the things that we know aren't true? I literally had to look at myself and be like, I know I'm not worthless. You know you're not worthless. You know that. It feels like it right now. This is very difficult. And it's okay to be honest about the reality of what you're going through. But you have to also tell yourself, remind yourself, and spend time being mindful about the fact that a situation is a situation. An aspect of your life is only that. It's not your whole life, even though it might feel like it. And there's always a decision that you can make to make it a little bit better, maybe even a lot bit better, right? For me, it did help. If it helps you, great. If it helps somebody else, share it with them. When you call them, which was the point of this episode, reach out, call somebody. What's the song? Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can, oh Lord, reach out and touch somebody's hand and make this world a better place. If you can. All right. Anyways, love you dearly. Feel free to reach out to me if you would like. I'm your friend. I love you. It's your boy CA. Take care. If I've been helpful to you, please like and subscribe. If you think others will be blessed, please share it. Thank you for the gift of your time and attention. I'm very grateful, and I don't take it lightly. Peace and blessings to you and yours. 'Cause I got mine. Worry about yours, 'cause I got mine. 'Cause I got mine. Praise and production.